And so, okay, so I was crying out of gratitude, like I do. And I, I need to come on here and share why how I cry in gratitude, even in the circumstances I've been through, the pain that I felt and the pain that I've gone through and the experiences that I've had. Why now I still am happy and joyful and grateful and optimistic and loving. That's what I need to share. And it's because of my my soul's journey to coming back into union with God is the most beautiful love story ever that's ever occurred in my life. and and that's what's been so funny, is because like my spirit team is saying, you need to share, so everyone share with others, share with the world how you did it, how you are the way that you are. And it was through them. They saved me. It was through God. It was through the divine. It was through believing and never giving up, and then having that, and then being open, though, being open and receptive, because it's being open means we can't shut off the limitations of what can come in once we believe. Give the divine the opportunity, give God the opportunity to. It may not be what we want or what ego wants, as an answer, but I bet you it's whatever happens is for your highest good. It's for the best. It's what you need, what you really need to overcome, to be stronger, to not have it happen again, so you're not in the same situation. God could just fix everything for us, but then we wouldn't learn anything, and we keep doing the same stupid stuff over and over that hurts us. And really doesn't want that. Our spiritual team doesn't want that it doesn't help us. So we have to learn our lessons to become what we want, and that's when that we become grateful for those lessons, for those things that we go through, and that make us stronger and make us, and for me it made me closer and closer to the divine, to God, to my spirit team. And it's funny because it's my ego, and ego's part of us. Don't be afraid of ego. Shadow is part of us. It's what makes us strong. Like, I cry for that too, like, I out of gratitude, because it's my strength. It literally has made, my light side even like so strong, because of acknowledging my shadow, and acknowledging the things that hurt me, and acknowledging the things that made me who I am. Because ignoring it doesn't help. It's part of me. It's part of who I am. So that's just not a good idea. You know what I mean? And plus, I want to be proud of it. It's what made me who I am. It's made me how the capacity I can love now, and the capacity that I can understand, and the capacity of empathy and wisdom and experience that I have acquired. I wouldn't have been able to do if my shadow side wouldn't have been as strong into the depths that it had. So I honor it and respect it, and I'm grateful for it. And don't get me wrong, though, this is a balance in between light and dark, and we're unifying them. And we gotta get through layers of stuff. But the most beautiful love story ever told is coming back into communion with God. And that's what the reason I cry is because I'm supposed to share, like, how I did it, which was I just called him in. I knew that God was part of me, and I knew that it was within me. Everything I needed was within me. I just did. I knew it. And so I never gave up. I just called them forth. And then it was the believing that they were there, that I had to get down, because like I doubted, and I feared, and I didn't believe. I disbelieved, and I worried, and that actually shuts them off, so they can't come in. So you have to open up that frequency for them to be able to come in. But they're always with me, like I trust, because that's the trust frequency, that they're with me, and they're the ones that saved me from my own pain and my own hell. They're the ones that helped me get out of it. And it was because of my belief in them, and my trust. Once you're on the trust frequency, if you're on a doubt frequency, then it's no good. It's no good no matter what, because God's not on a doubt frequency. God's not on a negative frequency. The divine isn't when they're talking to you. So when you call them in, and you have to trust that they're there, they will be. But then you have to be open to any ways that they can be. And that could be closing your eyes, breathing in, and like and starting to sense yourself in different areas. Like, that's what I'm starting starting to do. Like, instead, and don't just give up. Be like, oh, I can't hear them, I can't see them, they're not there. Like, don't. That's not being open minded. You have to be open minded in all ways that they can communicate with you, God, and with the divine and God, how they can answer you and how they can help you. And then you got to believe that it's for your highest good. And as long as you're on those frequencies, you're fine. And so, but like I said, they're always with me now. They're in my heart, and so it's hard for me to, um, in a sense, give them up. You know what I mean? Even though everyone has their own unique connection, so it's not giving them up. And that's what God was trying to say to me a little bit ago. He's like, you got to tell everybody, because it's okay. Everybody still has, it's our own unique way to back to God, and then our own unique expression of God once we have once we're back to God in communion with God. And it is a love story. Like, it's funny because, like, I blush at the sun, you know, I smile up at the sky, the biggest smile. Like, it's just crazy. My whole life, though, and it's beauty and reverence and gratitude. Like I said, yeah, I blamed God here and there for things, but I knew that it didn't help. It wasn't, and all that did was me shut it off, so I couldn't access Him, and I didn't know that it created the energetic block, so I couldn't be able to get to Him or get to the divine. When I blamed, or any kind of negativity creates that negativity for us. And so, it's been hard to come out of that, but it just shows us, like I said, it shows you how unique and how complex and intricate, and how awesome God really can be. Like, because of how unique and intricate we are, and the access to them. Like I said, it's hard for me to give that, but it's okay. What I did was I just constantly called them in, and then I had to learn how to trust that they were there, and that the answers, that what happened was always for my highest good, even if it didn't feel good, you know. Because, and I was courageous and brave in a lot of ways, because I didn't, the pain, I didn't mind facing it, because I knew it kept reoccurring, and I'm like, this is going to keep reoccurring until I face this. So I mean, I was on my knees crying out to God, and help me. What do I do? What do I need to do? And I didn't hear anything, I didn't see anything, but what occurred, like, I would get snippets of consciousness, of awakening, like when what caused me to make the choices that were keeping me stuck in that pain, in that loop. That was my spirit guides coming through and going, it's this, you're doing this, and that's why it's what's causing this, and that's what makes you unhappy, and get on your knees and cry to God for salvation, for help. And so they were showing me that I had the power instead. God does too, and He could, but what's the point? I keep making the same decision and screwing it all up again. So it's like, and that's what makes us intricate and unique in that way, you know, and what makes God proud, and what makes our ancestors proud. And that's what, like, it's not straightforward. God doesn't like being straightforward, because we don't remember. We won't remember it. If it's shortcuts, there's no shortcuts. There's no, like, like, here, one and done. It's got to be complex and intricate. It's got to be metaphorical. It's got to be allegorical. It's got to be subtle. It's got to be, so we remember and we can apply it in the right ways for ourselves. But just call Him in, and then trust that He's there. It's like I said, all the negative things are the things that aren't not of God. He doesn't speak in that way to you. It doesn't mean that everything's sunshine and roses. Like, no, we got to go through hard times to get to the good times. But He's not going to give you the answers straight away. Like I said, you won't learn. We're just not that way. It's our own fault for being made up that way. Like, we're pretty stubborn that way. We won't learn in an easy way. Easy done and done. We got to have it the hard way. But that's what makes it worth it. That's what makes it worth it, and that's what makes you grateful. I just didn't. It's funny. My ego didn't want to give them up. There was a story. My mom, she was raised by her grandma, because her mom was deemed unfit by the courts to be able to take care of her when she had epilepsy. My mom's mom, and so my great grandma took care of my mom. And about less than a year ago, I realized that my great grandma died when my mom was 9 or 11. I'm not sure. And she was the one that raised my mom, and she was the only girl, and granddaughter as well. Well, of the girl of the family. And anyway, but my mom never talked about her, and I realized that just within this last year. And I said, "How come you never talk about great grandma?" And it was the sweetest answer that she gave me. And it's the same answer that has taken me so long to share how I have become so strong, and how I've, and it was because she said, I guess I've been afraid to talk about her, because then it's like I'm giving her away, and I just want to keep her all to myself. And I thought that was just the sweetest answer ever. I remember telling my daughter about it even. I was like, oh my goodness gracious. Of course, I get that then. How come she never did talk about great grandma, and that was the woman that raised her and made the most impressions on her. And I was wondered how come she didn't reminisce or anything like that. And she told me that as an answer. And I was like, well, there you go. I get you. It's a beautiful, it's beautiful. And that's how I felt about sharing my experience of how I have come through and how I am grateful today. But I didn't want to, because it's like I was giving my secret away, and I felt like I wouldn't have it anymore. But that's the whole reason that I have it in the first place. And I understand it in the first place is to help others have it for themselves. I remember having a friend, and I was talking about seeing glitters, and I'm like, or orbs, you know what I mean? And he wasn't listening to what I was saying, and he's like, "Yeah, I know." And I'm like, "How can you know? They're my sparkles and glitters." And like you have your own. You can't see mine. So how do you know? It was just funny because he wasn't actually paying attention to what I was saying, and that's why he said it. But it was just funny that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we do have our own path to God, and it is beautiful. It isn't anything like religion has taught us. And actually, what we're doing right now is completely so far from what we've known. Like, it's hard to bring in the new earth and to bring in the new earth, because it's just not what we're used to. But that's okay. We've got souls on here that know how to do it, that carry the blueprint, and we're able to, like me, and that can bring it down and have the capacity to. And it's good. And share it, though. That's the whole point of it, is to share it, and is to allow others to be able to, like, my frequency not only holds the ability to the innovation for the new earth, it's also for the healing from the old age. I actually carry that frequency, the energetic frequency within me. And that's why I had to clean it all out, and I had to balance it. And so I could get even stronger with it, so that when I'm around others' energy, I can naturally heal them just by being around them. Because I take it, and I take the energy, and I transmute it, and I alchemize it. I actually attract it to me, the negative energies, because of my shadow side and the strength of it. But since I've unified it and integrated it with my light side, there's nothing that can now parasitically attach to me or hurt me anymore. I've used every bit of it to unify myself and to balance and heal myself, so that I can help and balance and heal others. And I don't even have to talk to them. Like, I don't even have to. That's the thing about wisdom and emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence and wisdom are the same thing, which is knowing when to speak and knowing when not to, knowing when it's necessary to give your energy and knowing when it's not, and in what ways and how and why and all that good stuff. But it's true. And so, well, I guess I'm going to go on that because my dog's barking and you can't hear me now.